My reading today will be from the Gospel of John, chapter 1, verses 43 through 51. The next day, Jesus decided to go to Galilee. He found Philip and told him, "Come with me." Philip was from Bethsaida, Andrew and Peter's hometown. Philip now went off to look for Nathanael and told him, "We have found the Messiah, the very person Moses and the prophets told about. His name is Jesus, the son of Joseph from Nazareth." "Nazareth," exclaimed Nathanael. "Can anything good come from there?" "Just come and see for yourself," Philip declared. As they approached, Jesus said, "Here comes an honest man, a true son of Israel." "How do you know what I am like?" Nathanael demanded. And Jesus replied, "I could see you under the fig tree before Philip found you." Nathanael replied, "Sir, you are the Son of God, the King of Israel?" Jesus asked him, "Do you believe all of this just because I told you that I had seen you under the fig tree? You will see greater proofs than this. You will even see heaven open and the angels of God coming back and forth to me, the Messiah."
When I was 12, we moved from Tokyo, Japan to Miami, Florida. My parents were missionaries with the United Church of Christ, and their covenant with the UCC was that for every 5 years they worked in Japan as missionaries, they would spend a year in the United States. And in that year, they would travel from church to preach and to teach about their work as missionaries. We moved to Miami, Florida because my father's mother, my grandmother, lived there. And while my parents traveled around the United States to preach and teach about their missionary work, my brother and I lived with my grandmother. It was a shocking move for me. I don't think moving during your teenage years is easy for any child. But it was surprising to move from Japan, one of the more racially homogenous societies, to Miami, Florida, a place of incredible racial diversity. In my 6th grade classroom, I met for the first time classmates who were African American, Latin American, Jewish, and Asian American. It was the first time I even understood this concept of racial diversity. On the first day of school, as I lined up with my classmates outside of our classroom, I saw this tall and hefty African-American man come walking down the school hallway and realized that this was my teacher for the year, Mr. Pratt. About halfway through the school year, Mr. Pratt, in order to create some classroom harmony and understanding and cohesiveness, took us all into the hallway and asked us to make 2 lines so that we each faced another person in the class. Then, as we faced each other, we had to look each other in the eye and compliment each other. Then the line would shift, and we would do the exercise again with a new person until all had an opportunity to compliment every other person in our classroom. I was a really timid child back then, often finding it difficult to make friends. So this exercise made a huge impression on me. It made an impression first because I didn't think any of my classmates knew me enough to offer me a compliment. And second, because I realized that I knew something about each of them that I liked about my classmates and could find a way to actually articulate it. And so I've been pondering this week, what does it really mean to be known? How do we know somebody? In the 21st century, we gauge how well we are known by our Twitter feed, by how it's trending, or by how many friends we have on social media sites. But can we really be known by what we post on social media? And what does it really mean to be known? We all need places where we can be authentic, where we can show others who we really are. Many of our world's religions articulate the importance of creating space for our true selves to be known. I came across this reading by Richard Rohr about how Hindus understand the importance of being seen and being known. He writes, in the Hindu tradition, darshan or darsana is to behold the divine and to allow yourself to be fully seen. Many Hindus visit temples not to see God, but to let God gaze upon them and to join God's seeing, which is always unconditional love and compassion. The Jewish tradition gives us Psalm 39, a psalm that declares intimacy with God. It says, O Lord, you have searched me and known me. You know when I sit down and when I rise up. You discern my thoughts from far away. You search out my paths and my lying down and are acquainted with all my ways. Even before a word is on my tongue, O Lord, you know it completely. You hem me in behind and before and lay your hand upon me. Imagine such intimacy that God knows each of us so very well. The Christian tradition provides us a story from the Gospel of John where Nathanael moves from skepticism to discipleship when Jesus tells Nathanael how he knows him. In this story, Philip approaches Nathanael to tell him that he has met what Moses and the law and the prophets wrote about in Jesus, son of Joseph from Nazareth. And Nathanael replies with skepticism, can anything good come out of Nazareth? There must have been some common assumptions about people from Nazareth during this time because of Nathanael's reply. And so Philip says to him, come and see. Nathanael's skepticism moves to discipleship when Jesus tells Nathanael how much he knows him and sees him. Jesus' knowledge of Nathanael moves him to put aside his doubt and to become a disciple. Can you think of a time when you felt like you had to stifle your true identity? And can you think of a time, too, when you felt like you were really seen? How important is it to know and to be known? As we read in the psalm about how God knows us intimately, we understand that we need to create space for our true selves to show up. Where are the places or the people with whom you can be your authentic self? How can you help to create a safe space for other people to reveal their authentic selves? I've always believed that one of our church's critical functions is to create safe space for people to share their authentic selves. Just as Jesus made the space for Nathanael to be known, people of faith can advocate for a safe and inclusive society where all people can be intrinsically known. It seems that every movement for human rights or civil rights is a movement to have a person's identity or a people's identity and worth acknowledged and known. I want to end this sermon by sharing a poem with you. It was T.S. Eliot who once said that poetry may make us a little more aware of the deeper, unnamed feelings which form the substratum of our being, to which we rarely penetrate, for our lives are mostly a constant evasion of ourselves. And so I share this poem written by Maria Mankin. It is a poem that riffs from Psalm 139, and it's about knowing and being known. I hope it helps you to know some part of the substratum of your being. It's something, isn't it? To imagine being known so thoroughly that the pain you hold is understood with you without you having to say a single word, without you having to testify about your decision from last year or 10 years ago or yesterday. When you said the little thing that led to the other thing that brought you so low you thought you'd never be known. For more than the pain that crystallized around your hopes and your heart. It's something, isn't it, to believe in one who isn't afraid of your broken parts or ugly deeds or the cowardice or the fear or the anger or the 100 other ways you have tried to make yourself disappear. When you felt unworthy of a great and abiding love and had persuaded yourself that forgiveness was beyond reach and grace an undeserved gift. It's something, isn't it, to be loved by God, to be both fearfully and wonderfully made, just as you are. Not happier, not a work in progress, or with fewer secrets or scars, but just as you are welcome at the table. Amen and amen.